This is a game.
Kid with a French last name, Monceau or something like that.
Misfit, what we eating tonight?
Star Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about Star Pizza.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Cats, the Cougar After Thoughts Show. U of H beats Colorado 77-68 in an anticlimactic kind of game. Galen, Brad, what are your thoughts?
I'll go first. I feel like Brad might have something more impressive to say, but hey, we'll take all wins in March. Granted, I felt like I knew this game was kind of gonna go like this, considering the fact that the team that we're playing is fighting for their life, whereas we know our season is gonna extend beyond this. So and also we haven't played in some time. So but this game kind of went how I anticipated that it would go. But like I said, I'm just glad that it could have easily went the other way. So I'm just glad we were able to come out with a win.
It's a win. It's March. It's money's on the table, and there's not a single game that we play where you can say, well, I mean, you could say it, but literally, it doesn't matter how you play today as long as you get the W. This game means nothing about the next game. Every game is potentially your last game. If we're gonna play in this tournament, you have to use it as preparation for the real tournament, and you got to get used to winning ugly. And tonight wasn't ugly; it just wasn't the blowout that we had all hoped for.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of good things. The only bad things that I saw, just taking the foot off the gas instead of putting them away, then letting the backups in.
Yeah, I think the only thing you can say negatively is they took the foot off the gas, or they didn't put them away, I guess is how I would say it.
Right.
You shot 49%.
Yeah.
For the game. Colorado had more shots. Has that happened three times this year?
I think that because free throws aren't counted as shot attempts on the overall shot chart unless they're and ones.
Okay, yeah, U of H had 31.
Seemed definitely more aggressive getting to the paint, which I really liked.
Yeah. Points.
You know what? I'm gonna just come out and say it.
Okay.
When Geelong went down, my heart damn near broke. And then it made me think, what the fuck is there to gain? Granted, I know we're playing to win, and I know all that. But the last time I checked, when you brought it in on the huddle, it was national champs on 3, not conference tournament champs on 3. So it's like, what is it to gain? You're gonna be a 1 seed. Like, what is? I wanted to say this for later in the show, but I can't help myself, fellas. My ADHD
Galen,
is crazy right now.
Welcome to the Monceau plan, where you just put 4 student managers out on the floor and see how they do. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
I think we've had this discussion.
Yes.
the last 3 years. And
Yes.
I get the concept of we want to, you want to continue momentum. Hey, if the scoreboard's on, we want to be on the winning side of it. I get that. I get that. But you're not judged on. Nobody's judged on conference tournament championships. Coaches get fired because they don't win national titles. Not here, but I'm talking about around the country.
Well, that's pretty dumb.
They don't get extensions because, hey, guess what? You went out in the second round of the NCAA tournament, but you got the conference tournament championship.
I think it's crazy how at North Carolina, people are in a frenzy and they won 20 games this year. And it's just like, how crazy is that is getting over. They won over 20 games. And it's like, that is a standard. How wild is that?
Part of that is your rival is the number one team in the country. And they're not competing with that rival. Part of it is a lot of their fans don't think their coach is the right guy. And then they also extended him in December without telling anyone. But anyways, back to this game. Way to go for winning it. You thought you were going to get Iowa State probably tomorrow. Now you get BYU. They're pretty hot. It would be a shame if they shot U of H right out of this tournament. You guys should go home and rest for a little bit before finding out their seeding on Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, Brad, how about a Sunday show talking about them brackets? GoCoogs, Sunday night, 6 o'clock. The selection show is at 5. We'll do ours right after that. And kind of like we did last year. We talked about U of H and their seeding, their bracket. And then I think I just canceled a whole bunch of flights during the show as well. So y'all can watch that. A lot of fun. Brad, who was your favorite player today?
E-Man.
Really?
He started.
Go ahead.
I thought he played phenomenal. I'd love to. He's such a more dynamic player, and the game completely changes for him when he goes aggressive to the hole. I mean, He's got the body for it. I mean, he's slimmer Charles Barkley that can shoot. But I mean, when he gets around the glass, he can take punishment and still score. But it changes the way you've got to defend him different when he proves that he can get to the basket, because you got to give him about another foot or two room, or you have to be directly in him, like inside almost his little cylinder.
There you go.
Not me this time.
I know.
Son. I get what you mean, though.
But he makes it himself so much more difficult to defend when he shows he can do more than shoot from the timeline.
And that's where
allows him a lot more room. And the thing is that he doesn't need much. His shot is so quick, he doesn't need much space to get off a normal shot. So that extra foot that you have to give him defensive wise, or that extra respect you have to give him, makes him deadly. And I thought he just played phenomenal. Except for the free throw shooting, he was horrendous at that.
First time and last time I ever hear that.
Hey, he missed 2 in a row. Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The guy never misses.
Yeah. A victim of his own success.
Exactly.
I say mine would probably be shared between JoJo and Los. I feel like JoJo's kind of growing up before our eyes, man. Like all the little things that he's doing within the game. And I feel like Los, for him to be scoreless in the first half and to come out and have the performance that he did in the second half, it just shows all the more why we need him on the court, and also how much growth he's had since the first half of the season. If he would have gone scoreless in November and December in the first half, he probably was not going to be aggressive in the second half. Whereas now he's taking pull-up threes off the dribble, like his game, his growth, everything. He is trending in the right direction for us to be able to do what we think we can do. But JoJo, man, he's the kid is versatile, very, very versatile. And it's just once that versatility gets some guidance and it's like breaking in a stallion. Once he gets some control, it's gonna be something special to watch. I'm a firm believer.
If you ask the fans, it's Mercy Miller. I do not agree with that. I mean, he played okay. He was worse than Emmanuel from the free throw line. But I thought JoJo did exactly kind of what you expect him to do. 9 rebounds, 10 points. So he won Defensive Player of the Year this week in the conference, which when I found out about it Sunday, I was like, whoa. I wasn't expecting that.
Me either.
And then he's a finalist for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year, what Jamal won last year. And then I think the Field of 68 just named him the captain of their all-glue team. And that surprises me maybe even more than Defensive Player of the Year, that he gets recognition like that. That's cool, but I think Jawan is your glue for this team. But yeah, there you go. We need an update on Roberts. He was able to sit in the second half. He was very good at it. He did a great job. There was no chance they were putting him back in that game. U of H announced that he was available or probable to return, but that's trainer talking, not Kelvin and Kellen kind of pulling him back. I don't see any reason you play him tomorrow, frankly. That said, he'll probably start and play 38 minutes. So my thoughts and Kelvin's thoughts typically don't align when it comes to resting guys for something else. But that's okay. Only one of us is National Coach of the Year. So go ahead.
The comment Scott Doak said, can you put that one up?
Mercy? This one?
No. The at 4:43 p.m.
Galen, how hard is it for our guys to get up for a 16 team playing on the third day? I guess it took until after half.
Interesting question. I was hoping someone asked this. It's I wasn't excited to watch this game, so I couldn't expect our guys to be excited to play in it because, as what I said before, you have one team fighting for their life and another team who has the ability to win a national title. It's just human nature. And I think it's funny how I'm not trying to make any excuses, but it is early March. There are some people who have given up on their New Year's resolutions already. You know where I'm going with this, Ryan? Let us see all of us in here. Let us see all of us in here. There are some people who are putting off things that promises they made to themselves 2 months ago.
Okay, fine.
Because they don't feel like
I'll lose the weight.
But but it's just like it's just human nature creeping in. It's normal. It's okay. We'll be better. We'll be better. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Colorado is in their third game in 3 days. No one thought they were going to be here. They came out playing well, but U of H. There's no way you can go through what U of H just did and go and win that Baylor game on the road. They got back at, I think Kelvin told me, 5 a.m. Sunday morning. They haven't been focused on this. They first practiced, I think, Tuesday before getting on a plane to go to Kansas City. Probably a shoot around yesterday, shoot around this morning. It's just not.
I don't know.
No one's game planning for this.
Did I miss something? The game was a lot worse than what I thought it was, because I didn't see any problem other than taking the foot off the gas. But outside of that, there's nothing structurally wrong whatsoever. I thought everybody played really well when they were playing. You think that's going to happen tomorrow? You think that's going to happen if we win the next game? I mean, does anybody think that's going to happen going in whenever we're in the NCAA tournament? Well, it depends. It depends if we jump out to a real quick 18 point lead. That's the only time you have to be concerned. This game was never even close to being in question. But they cut it to 5. It still felt like it was a 15-point lead. They weren't a threat at all.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point right now where we're just
you haven't been able to bitch about anything in a long time.
Oh, no.
I mean, since
we
November.
See the comments every fucking week, and there's something to bitch at every fucking week.
Well, I'm saying as a collective, as a fan base.
I didn't see anybody. I just didn't see any problems tonight.
Well, I don't see problems.
It's just a little bit of human nature. You're going against a 16 seed with nothing to gain. What's there to be excited for, to play about? Like, what? There's no reason to be geeked. Meanwhile, Colorado, they have everything to gain and nothing to lose. And their season is on the line. There's a consequence. For us, there's no consequence. It's just human nature. So it's like it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
I guarantee you Colorado would have loved to win this game. But they're at the crib now. Like, it's okay.
It's okay. Brad.
They got exit interviews coming.
Speaking of exit, Star Pizza. Who doesn't love Star Pizza? Tonight, what are you doing? Get Star Pizza. Enjoy. Watch who's playing next. It's the butt game, right? Baylor University and Texas Tech. Have fun. Arizona plays later. Star Pizza. There's Galen. He's got his little notebook. Put your notebook out there, young man. There you go. Star Pizza.
Good
people. If we're gonna make a run to win this tournament, or this Big 12 tournament, you got to carb up with Star Pizza. I mean, you're going to need energy, and that's going to do it for you right there. You got to have power.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk. Have we talked about Quanas at all?
No, we haven't, because we haven't seen each other.
We were commiserating about this game first.
Since Quanas got the Louisiana job, we've been talking about this since December, that Louisiana was most likely his destination. He told me they'd been kind of working on it for about 3 weeks and got the deal done, announced it Monday. Very happy for him. Galen, thoughts?
When you lose a guy like Q, who is such a vital part of our program's success, I personally think that Q, this is why he's a head coach now. Q has a type of value to where if he leaves your program, there may be a dip.
Yep.
And I really do think our program is going to take a slight hit because Q is he's our guards position coach. And, the guards are the most important position on the floor. And with him leaving, that's Coach Sampson's first starting point guard for his first ever Final Four. So you lose a guy with that type of knowledge and, experience, that's going to be hard to replace. And we've seen how far Los has come this year, and that has been Q. That is 100%. Been all Q, 1,000%. So, let's say for a guy like Mercy, there may be, I don't know who's going to follow Q. I don't know who's going to be the coach that replaces him. But with all the respect, he's not going to be Quanas White. And Quanas White is a hell of a coach, and he is elite at what he does. So I think losing a guy like that is our guys' player development is definitely gonna take kind of a hit, and which could, in turn hurt our team.
Okay, so take a step back from that. What are your thoughts about your guy Quanas getting that head job?
Beyond beyond deserved, because one thing about Q is like and they already got like a good recruit who just committed.
From Shadow Creek.
Stud. But Q, he'll meet you wherever you at. So if you got an attitude and you feel like you might be wanting to poke your chest out one, he'll meet you there. And he'll show you like I'm more willing to go there than you are, brother. And like so it's like he has the luxury of relatability. And I feel like having that as a head coach, that is the biggest strength. That's why Coach Sampson, that's why we've been able to have the success that we've had, is like the relatability, and I feel like Q has that, and I feel like he has just a winning type of energy. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get whatever result that equates to a win. So that's why I feel like he'll be successful for sure.
A few years ago when Alvin Brooks left to go take over Lamar, they elevated Quanas to associate head coach. And I think a lot of outsiders didn't really pay attention to that, but there was a reason for it. And it's the development that he has produced with these guards. I mean, going back 7 years, the guards in this program have been elite. And he absolutely deserved this opportunity. And I think this is a sleeping giant of a program in that conference and in that state. There's really no great basketball in that state except for what Will Wade is doing at McNeese.
And he about to be gone.
He's probably going to be gone. The Cajun Dome seats 13,000 people. Quanas is going to fill that up. It's not going to happen this year, but they're going to elevate that program to another level. And just talking to him Monday. So Monday he met with the media, but he waited for all the players to do their piece before he talked to them. So naturally, I don't care about scripted conversations with media. So I wandered over and talked with him. And he sounded more confident, more head coach like than he's ever sounded. He sounded like he was meeting that moment. He was ready. He's always deferred to Kelvin, as he should, as an assistant.
100%.
But man, when he met, we talked with me, and then when he talked with the media, he sounded like a different guy. And I'm excited for him. He's going to meet his team Monday morning. He's not met them yet. They'll introduce him at noon. Very good chance I'm going to go over for that.
Man, that's tough.
To see that and see how it goes down. In terms of this staff, I think Anthony Goldwire is going to step up into filling the shoes of Quanas. I think Hollis will slide onto the staff, but Hollis and Ellen and Casey Beard all kind of work with the bigs. You're going to need a guard guy.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how it works out specifically. Quanas will probably take someone with him. I don't think it'll be anybody on the staff, but it could be grad assistants or analysts.
Yeah.
And good for him.
But also one thing I wanted to say is Q, he has such a head start being a Louisiana guy.
100%.
And him having the type of respect that he has in that state that's probably going to be the biggest key to his success. And Louisiana grassroots has been on the familiar with the AAU circuit and all the ins and outs. Man, he is in such an advantageous position, and it's just Q. He's like the reason why we've had. I'll never forget first day meeting Q. What I want to do. I want him in a motherfucking national championship. Like, he just mug on me. Like, like he made it very clear what his agenda was as soon as he stepped foot on campus. And it's like he's had a no nonsense approach. Like, I'll never forget. We're post practice shooting, and me and Corey might be getting a little attitude that we feel like Q doing too much, and it's like, Q, like, what y'all want to do? And then we'll do whatever he asks us to do. So it's just like I'm beyond happy for the guy, and there's nobody more deserving.
Yeah, I think he was with that AAU program for like 8 years. Then he coached at Tulane, played at St. Augustine in New Orleans, and I mean, think of the guys from Louisiana that he brought here.
Yeah,
it's a laundry list of legit players. Javier Francis, Malik. On this team, Corey Davis,
Bryson,
Deaky,
Bryson.
I mean, Bryson. Yeah, sorry. He was going back to the bench. He just had 2 fouls. And Quanas is going to stay through the end of the NCAA tournament. This is a big deal because of what Jay Lucas just did, leaving Duke, going to Miami. I mean, I knew that he wasn't going to leave, but somebody asked Kelvin about it on his Monday Zoom, and Kelvin was almost offended by the question. Like, what are you even talking about?
He's staying,
of course he's staying. Yeah. And Quanas was like, he told us on our show 6 weeks ago on the Sunday night show that the reason he gets out of bed every day is to help the players succeed. And he puts their careers before his career. And this is just another example of that. He's putting these players' career before going and starting this next phase for himself. Obviously, he's going to work on Louisiana a ton over the next month. But staying and helping these guys to get to the destination they have been working for, it's awesome, but it's also it's expected.
And I think Q he just has a natural chip on his shoulder, and is like he's gonna carry that same attitude wherever he goes, because a lot of the times he might have a similar upbringing to the guys that he may be coaching, and it's like you're playing for your families, you're trying to take care of your mom, you're trying to take care of your sister, you're trying to take care of your family. So it's like and that's what he had to do. So he's going to carry that same mentality wherever he goes, and it's going to help him win, because he's putting the player's success over his own, but by his players having success is going to help his. So it's just that relatability thing that I was talking about earlier. I just feel like he's going to have he fucking around might not be at Louisiana long.
No, that's possible. There's a lot of places he could go down the road. I'm looking for a comment that I wanted to talk about.
Just JD just reported X-rays were negative on Houston.
Yeah, I mean, he took X-rays when he went back. They have an X-ray machine when you come off the floor in Kansas City. It's right there. You go and you get back on the floor.
See, J1's weird in a way, because I mean, he literally could snap his leg in half and he'd still walk it off. He'd try to walk it off. I mean, the injuries that he faced last year, I don't think many people could play through or could practice through those, much less play through those. I mean, when he had his hand nearly split, I mean, people don't understand what really happened when his hand got gouged.
Well, I think it was 7 stitches, which is a lot.
Well, I mean, it was, your fingers are forcefully ripped apart. It wasn't a cut. It was a rip. You got muted, Galen.
Oh, because it's some bullshit going on outside. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duck.
And his knee was the biggest problem.
That's prime Birmingham.
Yeah.
But then his shin and his knee, and I mean
his knee,
all the stuff that he had going on, it would not surprise me if he tried to force his way into the lineup tomorrow. If
when
coach
he
tells him
plays
he can't play, he's going to fight.
You done?
Yes.
Okay. When he plays his final game here and he untapes fully, I think his body's going to be in like 11 parts. Like it's just all tape that's holding him together. I see him without the tape and I mean, he's a beaten man. He is physically, he's playing a position of guys 4 inches taller than him and banging with him and winning most of the time. That's who he is. Houston hasn't held leads well this season, but you could see the lack of motivation after they went up 14. Eric, I mean, they are 28-4. They've held leads okay. They've won 24 out of 25 games, I think. Okay.
Did you know that we're the only team in Big 12 history to have an in-conference margin of victory of plus 10 or more for back-to-back years in the history of the conference?
No, but that's a.
I mean, we averaged
not a good enough lead though. That's not a good.
I mean, we averaged 10 last year and I think like 11 this year. I think
you've now won 20 games in the conference.
I talked about this last week or the week before last. We've got so spoiled with being so good that anything less than a 20-point win feels like we were bad.
A victim of success. Victim of your own dominance.
Felt like an exhibition game. It sort of was. A lot of turnovers tonight. You didn't have 12. They look like a team that just hadn't played in a while, and
yeah,
that's fine.
Haven't played in a while, and who we're playing against. This is not.
And I mean, the situation matters, right?
It's context that people are choosing to ignore, and
well, I think a lot of people also don't really kind of understand it, and that's understandable that they don't. Of how can a shitty team like Colorado all of a sudden be tough to beat? We should just blow them out. I mean, it's just like last year, North Carolina State was just trash. They lost like 9 games in a row to close out the season. Then they won 5 or 6 straight to get to win the ACC tournament, and then got to the Final Four.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just the trends, man. It's just the trends.
When you know in a conference tournament, when you know that you have life after that, it's easy to get let yourself pull up a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you know that your last game is today,
yeah,
you're going to go out and you're going to fight. I mean, you saw the kid from Colorado
crying.
As soon as he knew it was over, he just broke down because that's it. He's never playing again. That's it. I mean, he might play on a pickup team at the consulting firm, but that's it.
Fuck Towns.
But we've all been there. We know that last
finality.
Desperate
Finality
deal.
Mm-hmm.
Why are people so quick to write off freshman players who start off slow from a developmental standpoint?
Immediate gratification. That's why people think that success comes just instantly. No, there is a process. There are certain things you have to endure and go through in order to have success. Otherwise, you would not be successful. Sorry.
You saw it here with Marcus Sasser, with Jamal Shedd, with Juwan Roberts.
People don't. It's as much as we loved Jamal last year. People. It's either conveniently or they just plumb forgot, and they weren't paying attention. But Jamal came in. We were covering Jamal since he was signed out of high school. Ryan was there at his signing day in high school.
Well, I was not, but okay.
Well, you had a pre-interview with him.
Yeah, I interviewed him while he was in high school.
You
Nicest guy I've ever met in high school. Kind of an asshole to see you here, but go ahead. Just kidding. Just kidding.
But that dude took such a beating, and on written really on Twitter, but on our forum, people did not think he was going to be here. They were pretty much writing him off. It's like we need an upgrade on point guard. Oh, we got Jamal. No, he's not. He's not a point guard.
Do you remember what they would say? Well, he's not Galen. Oh, he's not Galen. Yeah, you're right.
Shit.
And do you get mentioned in every freaking broadcast?
When Fran's on there, absolutely.
Yeah, Fran loves him some Galen.
He knows the hierarchy.
Yep, he does.
Aside from all that, though,
I mean, Galen, he gets read off every game. Galen begat Deke. Deke begat
Jamal. Milos.
Aside from all
Milos
that,
was on his own.
Aside from all that, I really wish Kingston would have the opportunity to be with Quanas. I really do. I really do, man. And that is just, But man, I would have loved to see that development with that athleticism. Oh man, she would have been a cheat code. Them floaters that Milo shooting would have been dunks. Shit, man. But
this was the right year for Quanas to go.
Yeah.
You're graduating a lot of guys, and his daughter is graduating high school, and so he's got a good solid break here. And you don't want to wait too long because you might, U of H has a mediocre year, finishes 4th in the conference, and your hot kind of cools off. So he is said no to some opportunities, but this one was the right one. They stepped up with what they're going to pay him, and I think they're going to commit to NIL. They're going to commit to assistant coach pay. Now, that's not the same as what U of H does, but it's going to be much better than what Bob Marlin had there.
I think the one thing that's going to be interesting about watching him is I have a theory that the only reason why it's taken Q this long sounds funny, but the time it's taken him to get a head coaching job is that by watching Kelvin and being involved in this program, you have to pick the right job.
Exactly.
It's not all about money. It's not all about who's going to give you the most for facilities, who's going to give you the most for coaching staff or most NIL. It's mostly who's going to let you coach and run your program the way you want to run it and you believe it to be needed to be done. And then how are they going to support you in doing that? Because we're in an era now where everything is blamed on NIL. Like every coach, every fan is like, oh, we just don't have enough NIL to compete. Bullshit. Everybody's got enough NIL to compete. It's what you do with that money. Kansas had all the NIL money in the world. Look what they've done. Middle of the pack, 2 years in a row. I think Q can pick the right guys, and I think he's at a place where he feels that they are going to support him and let him be the coach that he knows that he can be, as opposed to kind of dictate what they think you should be.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's really you see coaches go to big programs and crumble. Because what they end up doing, look at it like look at it what's his name at Marquette, the guy who was at Texas.
Shaka Smart.
Yeah, you look at Shaka. He was a phenomenal coach.
Unreasonably high expectations, man.
Well, he was really, really, really good before he got there. And then he got to Texas and he was solid, not great.
Couldn't be himself.
But because the reason why is because he's got a million people telling him what he needs to do. You need to do this. You need to do that. You
gotta listen to him.
Yeah, damn right you do. And there's only so many coaches that have the gravitas to say, sit down, shut up. It's my program. Enjoy the fucking ride and start writing checks. It's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, I don't think he get that same grace to grow if he went to a Power 5 program. Like I don't
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, you do need grace to grow because you've never been the guy.
Yeah.
You've seen the guy up close and have gotten a master class in how to do it,
Very much so.
but you're still going to do it your own way. And, he's going to have that opportunity here. I'm thrilled for him. He was way down the road about to accept a job last year or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago. Like about to make the phone call, like I'm in, and just said didn't feel right, and stayed at U of H, and now has a better job, a definite better job. So, I'm happy for him. He's got a great opportunity.
So, Coach Samp, his experience, because when you're around a guy like that, you can't help but to learn and you can't help but to gain insight on how to navigate. And Coach Sampson, he used to tell me all the time, like, if I'm going to take this job at Houston, I need this, and this. And I'm certain that Q picked up some game on that. Like, if I'm going to go somewhere and put because I feel like I can do this, and that, I'm going to need this, and this. And you can't just jump at the first sparkly thing that you see. You gotta, it has to be a right fit. And I feel like Louisiana I don't know if it get any better than that for Q.
Yeah, it's
maybe the University of New Orleans or some shit. I don't know.
I think the thing that's so interesting about ULL is, and they'll always be that to me, but
there's USL, but go ahead.
True. But the reason why I think that it's such a great spot is that community will rally around him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does start winning, they will be rabid fans, and they'll follow. They'll travel everywhere. Those fans their baseball fans were unreal. Some of the best I'd ever seen.
Football too.
And that's saying a lot, playing through down here in the Southeast and in the South. So he can truly build himself up to be a mid-major juggernaut that gives everybody a lot of problems.
For the round CQ at LSU, oh man, that'd be crazy.
And I think there's a lot of opportunity for programs of that stature. I don't want to say at that level, but of that stature. They're small, mid-sized schools, I'd say. But I think there's a unique opportunity there to catch guys who are up and coming and overlooked, guys with growth.
Yeah, who can be developed.
Well, that's where
he's going to make his money.
Well, guys who would be a first choice for them, a guy like Javier, coming out of high school, he would be a first choice for them.
Right.
And they could probably win that recruiting battle because they can sell him playing time. So you got shot at guys that are on the way up, but I think you got shot of guys who need a restart, who are quote unquote coming down. I mean, that's kind of where I saw we fit in early on in the Kelvin era, is that we were catching guys who were good, guys who were transferring, who were good, but they needed a fresh start somewhere else. And they got that. Like, and Q was, like I've said it before, he was one of the most important recruits here in Houston. I put three of them. Galen's one, Q, and Jarris. And Q was one because he was do what?
Quentin Grimes, not Q as in Quanas White.
Quentin Grimes.
Okay.
But you know what got Q here, Quentin Grimes here, was Damian Dotson. That was the first proof of concept that, if you come here, you can go from here to here. And there's a draft pick and all that stuff. So it's like,
yeah.
And so Samson did the same shit he did with Dot, did the same thing with Q. You're an athletic 6'5" guard who can shoot it. Why aren't you averaging 7 rebounds a game? Why are you averaging 2 rebounds a game? I'm going to challenge you because I know what these NBA guys value. and proof is in the pudding.
Yep. So I think there's a good shot for him to get guys like that, because I mean a lot of people, a lot of schools are going to fall into that, pardon the French, starfucker mode where they only want 5 stars. They want. I mean, they're going to be like Kansas. They're just going to collect Pokemon. It's like, oh, where's he ranked? Yeah, okay, we got to get that guy. There's going to be a lot of that. People throwing a lot of money, so there's going to be a lot of guys who are overlooked. And also, don't forget, there's a huge market to be able to go out and get the best of the best in JUCO, and they got extra time now. Go get a JUCO sophomore. They got 2 more years on top of it. You might get 6 years out of a JUCO kid.
Man, damn.
So, Galen, are you going to go work for Quanas? That's, I guess, the real question. Is that what you're announcing?
I do feel like Coach Sampson, his coaching tree, even with Talvin Hester being at La Tech, is like his coaching tree expanding helps guys like me. It helps guys like Deke. It helps guys like mine. It helps guys like Corey. It helps all of us because we are those guys. Those guys instilled certain things in us that, we can never repay, but we can only pass it down. So by us knowing that the fabric those guys are cut from, it gives us, we're in an advantageous position. So me knowing what Q wants and the type of time he's on and what he's trying to achieve, let's say I was to go on that coaching staff, I'd know exactly what to do. Exactly what to do. And I'm not foreshadowing anything, but it's just like, just putting it out there.
That's fair.
So your answer is not yet. You're not committing to anything as long as the pro career is going.
Nah, but I love Q, man, and I'm just glad he's getting the opportunity he deserves. And when the time comes, who knows? Oh man,
who knows? Yeah, not quite yet. Missed the game. Juwan got hurt. Yes, old man fell down.
What an
old man
fan.
Twisted ankle.
What an average fan.
Yeah,
just slather it with tapioca and have a 5 o'clock nap, and you're good to go.
I saw something the other day that blew my mind. Juwan was born 8 days after 9/11. 9/11 feels like it happened 40 years ago, but Juwan was born 8 days after it happened.
Damn,
he's really old. Fran even joked about it at the start of the game that he played with Hakeem.
Tomato.
Yeah. I won't be shocked at all with the results of us adjusting after Coach leaves. Gonna miss Coach Q. You're gonna see a hiccup, at least in development. I don't know if it lasts a whole year or a couple of years. You're building your guys, and Kelvin is gonna hire from within or within his family. Outsiders need not apply, at least at this point of where he is. So if maybe the next guy isn't exactly at the same spot Quanas was, he's got to grow into it. Okay. The good news is he's going to start off with talent way higher than what Quanas started off with.
Right.
So, it's going to be a better situation and just see how they handle it. I don't think Kelvin, at the end of his career, is going to let it fluctuate. I think the standard's going to be the same, and whoever steps into that role is going to be expected to produce the same sort of results.
One thing though, Coach Sampson has the luxury of having is it's his people who are in charge of his player development. So he gives them all leeway. And one thing I don't want Q to do is to kind of try to be in charge of everything, because you might want to do well so bad. It's got to hire people that you trust and that can get the job done, because that's a great luxury that Coach Sampson has. Is you can you're my guards coach and then go upstairs. Like, I'm not worried about it. I know you got my guys, but Q, he's gonna have to kind of start from scratch in that regard. So, but like I said, Just happy for the guy, man. Just happy for him.
And I think he will have Kelvin on speed dial. And
For sure.
when he runs into a spot, he'll have a guy to talk with.
100%.
You know, and you touched on it just a second. I like to see more of his guys getting new jobs, because in time, that gives more guys who are coming up underneath him an opportunity to go get new jobs.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he's done
blacked
a great
out.
job. He's done a great job of that as well. It's like Garrett Bridges, who was a GA. Garrett's dad and Coach Sampson, they were teammates in college, and Garrett's at Pepperdine. Mikael McLean is at Kentucky. Coach Brooks is at Lamar. You know, it's slowly but surely expanding. So that's always a good thing.
You know, and Coach Brooks being at Lamar, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is being in the right situation.
Mm-hmm. And every year that program has grown, and they've
gotten better.
They just lost a game, a heartbreaker, to go to the NCAA tournament yesterday versus a Will Wade's McNeese State team.
Yeah.
So on their way.
And we're played with them for 28 minutes or so.
It was 35. It's just they had to start fouling, and then all that is, you know,
they couldn't hit free throws either.
Yeah.
And that kind of seen that one before. Towns, you needed to finish the NC State workup. Now their coach is unemployed. Tough world. He doesn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was going to be fired last year, but then he went on a miracle run and stole that firing bullet and put it in his pocket. Unfortunately, they found it again this year. All he had to do was keep crumbling.
Yeah. I think Towns was trying to highlight that when the team is playing with a certain level of desperation, and there's no tomorrow, it's amazing what they can achieve, which is more so like him alluding to the performance of Colorado today.
Then you get DJ Burns to just go.
I mean, yeah, you got Zach
go ham for a month.
Shit.
It's like, shit, all of a sudden, freaking pro wrestler remembers he used to play basketball.
He has some game, too. Super.
Kids looking for big money in college versus U of H kids wanting to improve themselves or a chance at the pro dollars. Quick payout kids are not there for the long haul. U of H now gets both.
The kids. We're moving into that realm.
Yeah, you're moving into that neighborhood.
But see, the thing that we overlook, because we probably didn't really know, is that Duke guys that you see were always in the hunt for the national title. Those kids were all big money kids. They just couldn't.
Okay.
I mean, they just couldn't do
talk
it
about it. Yeah. Here's where U of H has the advantage. Is everybody else is looking to the portal as their first stop, and then we'll put high school kids around them. U of H is going the opposite way. We're going to continue to build with these high school kids. We're going to develop high school kids, and then we're going to add the one portal guy, just fill that little need that we have, that one spot, and we're going to build our team that way. And everybody is such in a hyper fast world that they have to go get those guys for today. You can't have a guy at the end of the bench who's redshirting, or a guy like Mercy who's kind of going to try to play his way into it. Everybody has to be right now, right here. And U of H has this built-in advantage that they have been working on for 11 years, and that when Kellen takes over, he's going to continue, is that they can still go after the high school kids and build the classes that way. And you can take a transfer when it makes sense. Josh Carlton made all the sense in the world. Quentin Grimes did. Obviously, Milos Uzan did. LJ Cryer did. Deaky made a lot of sense. We didn't know it at the time, but they did, clearly. They understood. So I think you're in a great spot for how this game is going to play out. And, of course, it's changed every year. All the rules have changed. And I mean, if we'd have talked 3 years ago about, oh, if you played NAIA or JUCO, it doesn't count anymore. You can just, I mean, who would have ever thought that was going to be the case? But the rules keep changing. But there is no rule that they can change that makes anything better than recruiting high school kids, developing high school kids, and seeing that work pay off in years 2, 3, and 4. And maybe you get a couple of one and done guys, okay? But the guys that you're going to build yourself around are going to be here 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
I think the best thing for our future recruiting has happened this year with the success of Rick Pitino with all of his transfers, and then him coming out and saying, "I'm not looking at high school kids anymore. I'm only getting transfers. I'm abandoning high school." Because
he's 90.
College basketball is a copycat league. And so a lot of people are going to look at that and say, yeah, we're going to do that too. Well, they don't understand that he's one of the greatest coaches to ever play.
Yeah.
He can do that. But hey, guess what? If that's all people want to do,
perfect.
Then we'll just go pick that one. Oh, we'll take that one. Oh, that one too.
You know, I got a couple of quotes. One of them is myself. But the first one is, all money ain't good money, man. Just because you're getting offered a lump sum to go play at whatever school doesn't mean it's going to be a good situation. And number 2 is, you can't buy culture. It is priceless, man. And once you're in this culture and once you understand it, once you surrender to it, success is only inevitable because you're going to do things the right way and you're going to be coached the way you need to be coached. And that's why we've been able to have draft picks. That's why we've been able to have the success that, you know, we want to have.
And don't you think that our culture isn't just built on the practice floor? Isn't it also a 24/7 thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
about what you get. You basically learn the culture off the court, meaning everything that you do in preparation, whether it be nutrition, sleep, rest, or even how you go about your life, your day-to-day business. You know,
fucking priorities.
Yeah, and then it gets solidified on the court.
Man, and it's so crazy how, like, I forget what city we're in. I think we were in Detroit. We were there for a period of days. And the guy who was driving, we took a charter bus to practice every day. And the guy was like, "Man, you always the first one on the bus." I'm thinking in my head, like, man, he was like, "You're going to go far." Like, well, like, man, I appreciate that. I'm like, brother, little do you know, this is Kelvin Sampson. I'm scared shitless of being late. I'm not trying to deal with no consequences, but it's like, you just learn the value of certain things. And, you know, that carries you a long way.
I showed up late to this, but no one has spoken to my soul better than Galen did about this stupid-ass conference tournament. Well, Dan Day, I have been speaking about it, well,
it just
for
sounds
20
better
years.
Me, Ryan.
Shut up, Galen. To someone to say, I have some quotes. I have some quotes, and one of them is me. Dumbass.
When you do that, next time you do that, you gotta say your name at the end.
Oh yeah, you gotta go third person on that shit. I feel the kids that are at 4-year schools the kids that are at 4 schools in 4 years show a lack of commitment to long-term growth as a player. So it's something about their overall character. They're only in it for money. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Some kids get in a situation, realize it's the wrong situation. I don't think this is the right situation for every kid, but I think Kelvin and his staff have chosen correctly almost every time. And the 2 that I can recall that have left, one of them I think was fine to leave. One of them I think made a pretty big mistake. And, you know, they did not go and play deep into tournaments, which for me would be the
Who are
whole
you talking
point.
about, Ryan?
Like, well, Caleb Mills
Okay, and
and
then
Tremont Mark.
okay, so we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think Tremont made a mistake,
Yeah.
but I just don't think Caleb was this kind of guy. And I know players love this guy. Like, it's dumbfounded me with you and with players that are in the program and have been recently, love him. And
Ryan,
all like,
I think that Caleb was a victim of bad counsel because
for sure,
our team, our coaching staff, especially me, there was a number of days that Caleb bust my ass as a redshirt freshman. Like I honestly believe this wholeheartedly that if he would have stayed in our program, he would have been a draft pick. That's how highly I think of the standard that our program holds guys to, but also how they would have managed him. And I feel like, him leaving was a result of, I guess, like trying to get some immediate gratification. But I was watching these old videos.
He chose the wrong place.
Yeah, but it's like, man, life is full of unintended consequences. And you listening to the wrong people, got you to some shit that, it's.
When we started NIL, I have a video of you and Emmanuel sitting there watching on a phone, watching like a highlight reel of Caleb, and the two of you just losing your shit. Just like, wow, look at what this guy.
Nah, Ryan, that was real skill, real bag work. Like, brother, listen, it's one thing to do this shit playing pickup. You're doing this shit when we're down one and we need a basket. You got some different types of nuts on you, bro. That's not normal. And it's just like, I really do wish he would have stayed, man. I really do. But, you can't help who's in your ear.
No. And
you can't help who's in your ear, man.
Sometimes you have to say bye. And then
you also, everybody thinks they want to be the guy. They want the ball. They want to have more shots. And I understand the thought that maybe you could do that elsewhere. But the deal is that here you can have those shots. You just got to grab it by the balls and go get it.
Well, he did.
Yeah, that kid was a killer.
Shout out to Ryan. You're terrific. Thank you. I think he doesn't understand the symbols. It should go the other way. Yeah. Star Pizza.
Big Mac, my dog.
Yeah. So we spent the entire show talking about Quanas White. Great, happy for him. And about recruiting and such, and then former players. Very little about the Colorado game, and that's
we talked for
fine.
20 minutes about Colorado.
Yeah, but it's fine. That's plenty.
I mean,
what
the fuck are we going to dissect there?
I'm just saying, you don't have to disagree. I'm not saying anything different than you. It's just that's how uninteresting this whole thing was.
There's something I want to say.
Tomorrow, I think will be more interesting. But go ahead, Galen.
Is it not weird how similar Mercy and Marcus look on the court? Like their body types, their mannerisms. It's almost like kind of weird. Like, am I the only person that sees that, or is it just?
No, I thought I nearly called him.
He looks like a young Marcus.
Yeah, that is weird to me. Like, damn.
Yeah, when he was on the floor, I only watched what he was doing. I mean, I watched only him and just focused on what he was doing. I like what he did, but I'm convinced if he would display a different body language, he would look like he's doing a lot more. Like, because he kind of stands there, kind of leaned over a little bit, looks ready and everything, but he looks flat-footed. So if you, I don't know, you just change up kind of your body language a little bit more.
I know exactly what you mean, Towns, because Damian Dotson used to do that shit. He looked like he was working hard, and Coach Sampson would be like, "Look how hard Dot's going." And it's like,
Yeah.
he ain't doing shit, but just moving his arms and flailing.
Yeah.
But it's just like I get the perception. I get it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I was sitting there really paying attention to it, and I thought that might be the case earlier, but this time I was watching him play a solid defense, watching him not
Much
bite
better.
on providing too much help, and then watching him block out and go to the boards, which was actually impressive of him.
Mhm.
But the whole time I'm like, he's really effective, but he doesn't look like he's doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like, if you break down, pull your shorts up real high and break down and throw your hands up, make it look like you're really, really getting after it.
Yeah.
It looked like, just watching him on defense, it looked like the game is slowing down for him. And you haven't really been able to say that a terrible amount. I mean, he's only played in weird mop-up minutes, but it looked like it was coming easier to him.
And it's like the reason why Mercy played tonight is you never know what's going to happen. And I feel like Coach Sampson, his mindset was, this is a game we should win, but it still has meaning. So why not? Like, he's probably been doing well in practice, so why not give Mercy some meaningful reps that can contribute to his growth? And it's just like, what happened to J1 is the reason why Mercy gets minutes. You just never know in March, man. And with our luck, hopefully it doesn't come back. Hopefully that's not the case this year, but you just never know. And it's just, Coach Sammy always says, we're all a sprained ankle away from mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I think it also
got to be ready.
If you go by what Kelvin says and kind of trust in what he projects to everybody, is that if he got on the floor, that means he's actually doing well in practice.
Absolutely.
He's earning the minutes off the floor, because he wasn't doing it earlier. He wasn't doing it earlier this year. And that's the time when you really want him to get those minutes. So now you're almost ready to go. But now he feels like, okay, now he's ready.
Yeah.
Now he's ready to get his feet wet.
Mm-hmm. And it's like in our program, Coach Simpson, he always talks about, you got to learn how to practice before you're able to play.
And that's true in every sport.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to describe what that
exactly
means.
It's hard to put that into words. But once you learn how to practice, you're not looking like an outlier in terms of you not belonging. Once you're able to overcome that, I'll get enough trust in you to get you some burn here and there. So,
can you give me one example of a thing that you learned to do that makes you learn how to practice?
Just realizing that, like, from playing I'll never forget the first time I broke my foot. It was the first time that I got the luxury of watching a practice, because I couldn't practice. And Coach Sampson used to always get on me about my body language. So this is going into my junior year, if I'm not mistaken. He used to always get on me about my body language, and I never knew how strong it was, especially being having a leadership position on the court. So I never knew how noticeable it was. So I didn't know the value of it. And, the guys, they're all looking at me since I'm the leader of the team. And whenever I was on the sideline watching, and I forget who it was, it might have been Said Alley, or it might have been, I forget who it was, but I was like, he had made a mistake, coach got on his ass, and he chin to chest, bad body language. And I was just like, damn. I remember I asked McHale McClain, I was like, damn, like, that's what I be looking like? He was like, yeah. And from that day on, like, I was like, I made it a point to, like, I can't be the leader exuding this type of energy, because if I'm doing that, that gives everybody else the green light to do that. And it's just like, that's not going to help our team. So I remember that happening to me. That was probably the greatest in terms of learning the value of having positive body language from a leadership position.
That was a good answer. Like, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
That's real life experience. A lot of ass chewings went into that answer, brother.
Well, I think it's also like when you're going and you're doing drills, those drills are done for a very, very specific reason. Sometimes it's a small breakdown of a little slice of the offense of what you're trying to run, and it's just a small piece of the offense, so you're just going to focus on that.
You say, well, you asked me, oh, my bad.
But what the difference between practicing well and not practicing, everybody's going to go through and do the drill. But to practice well, you have to compete in every single drill, and it has to be repeated exactly like it is in a game situation, the exact same intensity. Because if you can't play with that intensity in practice, you'll never reach that in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never do anything in a game that you can't replicate multiple times in practice and do it consistently. Yeah. And you have to go, and it has to be with that level of intensity. And so when Kelvin talks about, there's a difference between playing hard and competing, and everybody thinks that they're giving everything that they've got until they get here.
Literally.
Because, it's a dogfight every single day of everything that you do, and you're literally competing on everything.
Yeah. And one thing to piggyback to continue what Ryan asked me is like, when you're playing point guard for coach, it's such a sacrificial thing. And one thing that I feel like helped our team was whenever coach got on my ass, I was like, all right, coach, I got you, my bad. So it's like, let's say when coach might get on Chris Harris' ass, I'm able to come and also hold him accountable and pick him up because of how I responded to coach's ass chewing. And it's just like, let's say if I responded with bad body language and I tried to go help address Chris, it's like, motherfucker, you ain't handle it right. So what can you tell me? It kind of gives you a sense of, it kind of puts you in a leadership position, and it makes guys respond to you better. It's like whenever running sprints, and let's say I might not have to run, but Breon made a mistake, or Chris Harris or Fabian made a mistake. I'm running with those guys. Nobody asked me to do it, but it's just like by me doing that and going through a consequence with them that, that I didn't necessarily create, it builds trust, and it makes you be perceived a certain way. So, but that all just starts with being able to hold yourself accountable. And that's probably something that Los might have had to learn on his own, because Deke saw me do that. And I'm sure Jamal saw Deke do that, but Los probably didn't see anybody do that. So it's just, you just never know.
Colvin said in the post game, quote, "I like that we won.
Bars.
I have zero interest in spending 2 seconds talking about the way we play. It doesn't matter."
Bars.
And I think he's talking about just win and move on.
Bars.
Hey, you know what, Ryan? That's from a guy who's received, and I quote, 13 Coach of the Year honors.
Isn't that crazy?
13.
Like national Coach of the Year.
Yeah, national coaches. That's from a guy who's received national.
But if only they'd focus on more free throws.
But you know what's crazy? Just imagine
he didn't even work on the press.
Just imagine denying financial advice from someone who was on Forbes for 13 years.
Thank you for the advice, Mr. Buffett. But
fuck you.
I'm gonna double down on Blockbuster. Okay.
Crazy as hell, man.
What do you know, old man?
Crazy. Unbelievable.
Galen, you need to join the SAF. You can help the younglings. BYU about to run into a motivated defense. BYU's not going to run into anything. They're going to stand outside the 3-point line and chuck them up.
I'm going to say it for you again, Galen, and I'm going to tell everybody so that everybody else can hear it real loud. Never stop playing until you're completely done playing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, somebody needs to tell you, no, thank you. We're done. We're good.
No, we have a vested interest in you not doing that and, in starting the next path. But personally, never stop playing until you have to, because it never comes back.
Never.
Yep.
So yeah, I would love for you to be on the coach's staff, or I'd love for you to be with us. I would love for you to go into another broadcasting career as well, go work for ESPN or whatever. But that will all be there no matter what.
Yep. Any thoughts on Iowa State? They're not the Iowa State they were a year ago. I thought they were a really good team last year. I just don't think they're on that level. They're primed for a first round upset, maybe a second round. I think it'd be hard for them to get out of that first weekend. Now, they might get sent to Wichita or Milwaukee, which is perfect for them. They can house that place, but I think it's difficult.
I saw somebody say something about Iowa State, and I thought that I agreed with. I don't know if it was here or a forum or what, but I saw that the idea that Iowa State they can play defense at times, but they get caught into too many up and down games where they just want to get out and run. I was like, you know what? That is true, because they abandon their defense and try to trade it for offense. And next thing you know, they've got a 90-point game against whoever, whether it be BYU or anybody else.
I personally think that you put Iowa State in a win or go home situation with no tomorrows, they're going to be a tough out. When you got that type of pedigree, that type of culture, like established, that ain't going to be a pretty win for whoever's going to beat them. They're going to leave that. They're going to go to the next game wounded. Like, that is not going to be an easy out. So I think the word of their program and their culture, depending on their health, I do think they're at least a Sweet 16 team. Personally,
I think their style, or I think their core of their essentially of who they are, I think that translates really well to the NCAA tournament.
Literally,
when NCAA tournament runs around, whistles aren't as often. There's still terrible calls, but they let teams play more often than not. But they also have some gunners who can take over games, and that's exactly what you got to have in the NCAA tournament. You got to have guys who can flat out score, but you also have to be able to play some really ugly defense.
And then, since they have a reputation of being a hard-nosed team, they might get away with more calls than, let's say, like a Kentucky or something, because they might not be perceived as physical, but they might be able to get away, because you can't call them all.
Exactly.
More investment advice, guys. These markets are getting crazy. I'm going to tell you.
There's a car manufacturer you need to look into. It's called DeLorean. It is fantastic.
You go. Yeah. You know what I would invest all my money in? Something like this.
Star Pizza.
Why keep putting it in the markets where they go up and down? These shirts, I mean, they fit Brad.
Value, goddamn.
I say what you really need to do is you need to get yourself a couple of those shirts, and whenever you get that shirt, you sit down and you have yourself some Star Pizza. You might get some shit on there, but you got another one. You got to buy another one to make up for the one that you just ruined. So see, It's a cycle here. We go one and then get the other to get the other. Come on.
Great advice, Tom.
Okay. That's going to be it. We're going to do our final thoughts. Yeah. Brad, final thoughts for today.
Survive in advance. Keep going. I like some of the things I saw. I want, if this is the if Emmanuel can replicate this type of game, good things are in store.
Galen.
Any game that you're able to have more turnovers and assists and you win, I'll take that any day of the week. But like you said, Charles, I'm glad that E-Man was able to have some, especially this time of the year, some offensive success. 4 out of 7 from 3-point range. Him being in a rhythm, brother. But him being in a rhythm offensively, it makes more teams more fearful, and it gives us more confidence. When you got a guy like that rolling in the group, it was a point in the time of the year he was shooting 50% from 3 on probably 5 attempts. So whenever he's in a groove, on top of LJ doing what he does and Lowe's doing what he does, whenever E-Man is E-Man, takes us to a whole nother dimension. But like Tom said, survive and advance. I take any wins, pretty ugly, average in March.
I've listened to other teams' podcasts in the Big 12. Y'all are one of the better ones. I don't like the way that sounds.
Me either.
Why not?
Especially with
Yeah,
Galen's
I know.
perspective. I definitely don't like the way that sounds. That makes it sound like, Brad, you suck and I suck.
That would be true.
You know,
And
Roy
Galen
sucks,
makes
but
it
the Pounds are pretty
better.
good.
Yeah.
Come on, Cougar Nation 92. We're going to give you a chance to correct the typos on that previous
Yeah,
comment.
there are some typos.
Hey,
I
but
think.
Galen is the straw that stirs the drink. You know, I just tried to ride the wave whenever he sets it up for us.
See, I like to get behind you and ride the waves that you make because much
Hey,
bigger waves.
yo. Hey, yo.
Is that wrong?
Ryan.
Did I say that wrong? Damn it.
Ryan. Go put your head in the toilet and flush it, brother. That is crazy. That was diabolical.
Oh,
Wow. Wow.
All right, screw all of y'all. Okay, you finally seen U of H play on this court. What are we
oh,
thinking?
goddamn.
That's hard.
Dude,
Wait, when you
No.
say hard, that's good.
Yeah, that's elite.
You like this court.
Hell yeah, that black? That shit's smooth. Am I tripping?
yes.
No, it just looks like some Timu version of Harwin Street Louis Vuitton.
See, y'all are so
Just-
y'all are so out of touch with the new crowd.
That
We
is
are.
true.
100%.
All young
100%.
folks like a black court with the shit that we just won.
Well, no. The lines and the
lines look
outside
clean.
of the court is awesome. These
It's the damn
12s,
hieroglyphics on behind it.
yeah, I'm not a fan of the 12s.
I mean, damn, even Memphis and Oregon.
Yeah,
said,
the
"God
Memphis-
damn, that's
the-
fucked up.
Memphis had those wieners in the key, and that
That's
looked
true.
better than this. I looked up what undefeated was, though, for the first time. I don't quite understand, but I at least understand a little bit. But the Big 12 has this, what's next is decided here, or is decided now. What's next is decided now. That's one of the stupidest sayings I've ever heard in my entire life, and they need to get rid of that.
I guarantee you there was people ripping on bongs that came up with that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But I don't love the court. I don't hate it like a lot of other people do.
I hate it.
But I
hate it.
do notice myself not watching the basketball and just looking at the court. Like, oh, look at that. So, yeah. But you probably like the NBA tournament, the in-season thing. They had all the weird courts. Did you like those, Galen?
Nah.
Okay. Well, there's something for you. Because those were terrible, too.
Yeah, those are ass.
The Rockets one looked like you were burning in hell.
John B nailed it.
Yeah,
Focus
they
group
love
probably
that
love
slogan.
that. Yeah, that definitely sounds like something you would pay
What's next
$1.5 million from Bain
is
Consulting for.
decided now. What's next is decided now.
I get
oh,
it,
God.
but
No, you don't.
it wasn't as
There's no way.
groundbreaking. I get it.
It's trying too hard, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it though, but yeah, it's not.
I mean, he should say, fuck it, we ball.
Fuck them, we ball. Fuck them, we ball.
There you go. That works as well. No signed Samson Roberts photo. So here's what happened.
Brother, late.
And this is just me being honest with you. I forgot. So we'll do it tomorrow. I mailed out 4 of those yesterday, and just to people that were due. We'll do another one tomorrow. Brad, put that on your calendar so that we do that. And that's on me, Joshua. I apologize.
What time do we
5-star
play
work
tomorrow?
ethic. I think it's at 6. And then you play at 5 the next day. Or I
Ooh,
could have those
thank you.
backwards.
Doesn't interfere with my nap time again.
Yeah, the 12 hours that you nap.
I wish.
Wait, so tomorrow is 6 and Saturday is 5. Okay, so I did get those backwards. So tomorrow at 6. Yeah, tomorrow at 6.
CSP.
Saturday 5. If you make it to Saturday, which we have thoughts. Either way, Sunday, we're going to do a show instead of the normal 8 o'clock Sunday show. We're going to do one at 6. Talk about the brackets, talk about U of H's draw, talk about where we think everyone else is going to fail. And talk about that Iowa State team, see if they can make it through that first weekend. Maybe a Big 12 sub forum on Coug fans. Try to get more fans posting. We've got Big 12 plans that we'll figure out and come to an agreement on this summer. And we'll let y'all know. But nothing is happening short term. Thank y'all so much for watching. OneSubstantial.com, CougFans.com, GoCoogs.com. We'll be back again tomorrow after the U of H game. Houston versus everybody from a guy in Birmingham.
Harley
And
Homewood always
we'll make this work. Thank y'all so much. What happens next is now, I can't even remember the thing. What's next is decided now. So whatever. Thank y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow.